Hey everybody, Dave Olson, Studio 360 photo coming from. Oh, geez, that's a lot of Dave Olson right here. Coming to you from my studio in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. So why a video? You haven't seen one of those before because I haven't made one before. Every year I meet with a social media consultant for my studio here, and she tells me all the things that I've done wrong the previous year. And at the top of the list is you don't make videos. All I see is photos. I'm like, yeah, I'm a photographer. She goes, I know, but you got to get with the times. And so that's one reason. And the second reason is I get questions about certain things that would just be easier to explain on the video side of things. So this is the first one. We're going to talk about editing an image and also composing the shot. So let's get started here. This is a picture I took up in Sun Prairie a couple weeks ago, the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Victory lane shot. Talk a little bit about how I my workflow on this. So from the camera, I'm going to download my files on my desktop, and I'm going to view them in Adobe Bridge. Here I'll go through, select the images I want to edit, and export them into Photoshop. So here is a victory lane shot. Basically, I'm set up for the car to arrive in victory lane. Pretty much know what's going to happen. The driver's going to get up on the back and do a little wing dance, they call it. So I'm composing the shot. This is shot with a 35 millimeter, a little bit wider. I know there's going to be some confetti blown out of this cannon here. Kind of know where he's going to stand. I know where my light's coming from, which is basically right here, the track lights. Pretty bright coming down in this direction here. Also added a fill light from this victory lane sign, pretty bright. You can kind of see how that wing is already kind of illuminated from the bounce of the main light here. So you can see the driver here. We got a little bit of a light coming from that victory lane sign on the back. So I have the lights all set. I know what's going to happen here. I'm going to shoot a series of images. Typically in this confetti deal, you're going to have confetti all over the place. A lot of times it'll end up on covering the driver's face. So I'm going to shoot a bunch of shots here, just kind of let them fly and see if I can come up with one that'll be good. Here you got a little bit of confetti shadow on his face there. Here we have actually the shadow of the can on his face, eyes closed. That's not going to work. So I'm just going to shoot this, go through these quickly. Drinking here. So I'm looking at this shot here as my favorite. Let's see, where was that one? Right here. So this one here, a little bit of splash from the energy drink, nothing covering his face, telling a pretty good story. So I'll click that. The raw file opens up into Photoshop here. Now, some of the basic adjustments I'll do, I would recommend just hitting auto, see what the software looks at the image and kind of says this is what you need to do. 9 times out of 10 it's close, but it's a dark shot, so it'll lighten it up quite a bit. It also does kind of like over exaggerate, dropping down the highlights and then opening up the shadows a little bit. So I'm kind of somewhere around that 30 or so. That's kind of where I'll start on these and then go from there. So you're going to make some adjustments. Still, I think the driver's face is a little bit too bright, so I'm going to bring down the overall exposure here, somewhere around there. Also, you have a color balance as shot, and then you can kind of do an auto. It'll give you like what it thinks. Again, it kind of looks at that shot and goes, oh man, it's too cool for me. So I like what the camera recorded for like a skin tone there, and so those are the adjustments I'll make. I'll bring this into Photoshop. Let me get rid of this guy here. So the first thing I'm going to do is crop. I'm going to look to see what needs to be in the image and what I can eliminate. Here he is in victory lane, but none of that really would be something I'd like to include in the photo. The story is right up here with his face, the can there, checkered flag kind of thing. So it's going to default, let's see here, it'll default to this regular full crop here, right? So if I bring this down and crop it, there's still a lot here that I want to eliminate. So let's try cropping with a square here, and kind of like the way that's looking already. Move this guy around, and let's see here. So I got this rule of thirds grid on for cropping aid. Up here you can kind of click on a rule of thirds, a triangle, a full grid. There's some other cropping tools here, golden spiral. Again, we can kind of look at those at a later date. So let's see here, rule of thirds. How about we maybe use the can up in this area here. We kind of got his face in the other side, and the checkered flag maybe down in that area there. That's pretty solid. I kind of like that. Maybe just a little bit wider here. Kind of rotate it this way. All right, I'm pretty happy with that crop like that. So now let's look at the image and see what else we can do. A lot of times I'll go through and see, okay, what doesn't really add to the image. I'm seeing this guy, this confetti here hogging a lot of attention from the others. Let's use the AI tool in Photoshop. We'll just type remove here and let the computer kind of decide, the software decide how to get rid of that guy. It'll give you 3 options here. All of them are pretty similar, so I like that. Also, we have this this camera in the corner here, which isn't a big deal, but I'm going to select this and give this a remove command here and take that out of the picture. So these are really good tools to kind of like refine what you want it to show. Look at that, it's pretty good. Each one of these selections they're all about the same, so we're just going to select that. All right, so now we got the image pretty good to go. So this was shot 35 millimeter. I shoot this on manual. I choose my shutter speed 500th of a second. You know, it might show some movement in the confetti, which is going pretty quick, which I like. Shot wide open, and I use auto ISO. That would be a topic for another day, but it chose 3200 for this exposure here. So what else can we do to this? 3200 is going to give you some grain. So if I zoom in here, you can kind of see we got some grain. Looking in the black areas, that's where it'll show it the most. But I'll go to Filter Topaz Photo AI. This is a plugin that you can purchase. I'll put the link in the bio if I can figure that out. Basically, on autopilot, it's going to analyze the image and give you suggestions on what it thinks you should do, which sometimes is pretty close. Here it wants to sharpen the face, and I'm like, no, I really don't want you to do that. I'm kind of looking for grain help here. So if I zoom in here and look at the image, you can kind of see a improvement in the noise. You can kind of go up or down or give it some auto commands here, but I kind of like the way that looks. Let's export that back to Photoshop. So there we go. We got an image that the grain is reduced. I've eliminated some, kind of items that I don't want in there, and kind of decide on, a final crop. There's a little bit of that orange on the bottom that I don't like. And it's a little bit crookwards here. Let's go here. All right, so that's pretty much it on a simple edit. Cropping is a big factor. What story you want to tell, eliminating little items that maybe just detract from your image, and then reducing some grain. So from here, I would save this as a higher res. I submit images to a World Racing Group that they use in promo, and then I have an action built here that's going to size it and drop my logo in there, sizing it to what a size that Facebook won't reduce and make it look worse. I can share those settings if needed, but it also gives me a logo that I can kind of move around here. I'm really big on including a logo, but not over the main subject. It's just my own personal preference. I feel like it takes away from the image. Look, we're on social media, and images are going to be shared and copied all day long. I want the impact of the image to be the first thing they see, so I'll put it on here, and then I'll flatten this, and then save it as a JPEG file, and I'll name it. You can just name it whatever, 17 Victory Lane, and I'll put social on here and save that as a JPEG.